and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, ET Now's daily initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. This is the only daily MSME platform in the country, a show where you can voice your concerns and get answers to all your queries directly from our team of experts. We understand the concerns that you, the MSME entrepreneur, face, and the show aims to address each and every one of those. Today, we are talking all things financial markets, and I'm in conversation with Ravi Varanasi. He is the Group Head, Business Development and the CEO of the NSE Academy. Thank you very much for speaking with us on this special interview on the Leaders of Tomorrow in ET Now, Mr. Varanasi. We get a lot of questions from MSMEs who want to talk about the capital markets, who want to talk about fundraising. So who better to answer those questions than you on the show? So thank you once again for agreeing to speak with us. Let's start by talking about the historical action that we've seen on the markets. The latter half of 2015, a lot of the action in 2016, we saw MSMEs looking at the capital markets. Were you happy with the kind of action that we've seen, and do you think that this is also the kind of valuations that MSMEs have raised have been good so far?
What is heartening is, and particularly towards the end of 2016, September 2016 onwards, large number of SME entrepreneurs from various parts of the country, it's not just localized in a particular place, they have decided to come and experiment with the platform as such. So we have seen series of listings happening, and we have seen the other important encouraging factor is the kind of oversubscription some of these issues are seeing. Earlier, I mean, when we started in 2012 and up to 2015 early part also, it used to be exceedingly difficult to convince investors to put money. Even if the entrepreneurs come on board, it was a fair amount of tough job for us to get the investors to get excited about these particular companies and put money there. So, but towards the end of 2015, I think a lot of effort which has gone has started paying the dividends, and we have seen huge oversubscriptions happening for SME issues. And in some cases, we have seen 17 times, 18 times oversubscription. And so investors also have realized that there is a huge potential in some of these companies because they're at the growth phase, and a capital infusion at this point of time would really give them fantastic returns. That's possibly what investors have realized over a period of time. So large number of wealth management clients and some of the institutional investors, both AMCs as well as institutional investors, banks, have started putting money. In a couple of companies where we have seen subscriptions over 200 crores. Their offer was just about 15-16 crores, whereas they've got almost 200 crores worth of subscriptions. We've seen companies ranging from service sector companies to HR companies to manufacturing companies. There are agricultural product companies. Multiple companies have come through and have raised capital. So that's where the entire scenario has changed, and now we believe that most of these companies, and particularly the entrepreneurs from various parts of the country, now have realized that this is the place where they can successfully raise. The moment you are able to get a company from a particular location, other entrepreneurs will get interested once you do a listing in a particular place. Normally what happens is, most of our listings, main board listings, happen in Bombay itself. In case of SMEs, we are actually making an exception. We are going to the place of the company and ringing the bell from that place. So that gives kind of encouragement to other investors, other entrepreneurs to try the platform.
Very interesting points that you've raised. I will come to talk about sectors. I will talk about the regions that you're talking about. But one thing that you mentioned that I want to sort of take forward. You were talking about how initially it was a bit of a challenge, if I can call it that, to convince people about why they need to list. Let's sort of expand on that just a little more. If you can tell our viewers, in your mind, in your opinion, what are the top 2 or 3 reasons why you think it is essential that companies, MSME, should tap the capital markets?
One is obviously the raising capital itself. Most of them are finding it exceedingly difficult to get the capital. Platform gives them the capital which really helps them grow. That is the basic in any case. I'm sure most entrepreneurs would be convinced on that particular area. The second is the valuation unlocking. Usually what happens is, if a company is a private limited company or a unlisted limited company, whatever capital was put by the promoter is the capital, and it never kind of gives any other value for that. Nobody is going to give a value to the so supposing somebody has put in 5 crores as capital, it stays 5 crores, it doesn't really grow from there. But the moment the company is listed, investors are actually giving a value to the company, and then the value for the entrepreneurs also change. Supposing some company in a particular sector in the main board kind of say commands about 12 PE multiple. So the moment 5 crore capital is going to be suddenly starts looking completely different. So the valuation unlocking for the company is a significant, for the promoter is a significant enough motivation for some of these entrepreneurs to come on board. The second is the visibility. Most of these companies are not visible beyond their shores. Wherever they are operating, they are known in that place only. The moment it is listed on a national platform like NSE Emerge, they get a visibility across 250,000 terminals which we have across the country, length and breadth of the country, because these shares are traded on the same platform as the main board companies. So essentially the company is getting a huge publicity in a way. So they are going to be listed along with the top notch companies of the country, and they are visible to entire population, investing population in this country. That's the second biggest advantage. Third is most of these companies find they don't have too much of a cash. So if they want to grow further, want to do mergers or acquisitions, a listed entity, the shares become the currency to do some of these mergers and acquisitions, and retaining the talent. Most SMEs find it exceedingly difficult to pay to their employees, and there is huge fight for talent nowadays. Almost everybody is looking for talented people in their operations. While large companies can pay well as possibly give them ESOPs, SMEs, unlisted SME possibly has to pay in hard cash, which would be difficult for them because their operations themselves are at a level they may not be able to sustain or consistently pay higher salaries to retain talent. The moment you are a listed entity, you have the capability to give ESOPs, and the valuation possibly attracts much better talent than what they are currently able to afford.
Okay, maybe I can flip that question around on its head and ask you what some of the biggest concerns MSMEs have told you they are facing before they list on the exchange, and maybe use the Leaders of Tomorrow as a platform to try and bust or dispel those fears.
Sure. So immediate concern is they think most entrepreneurs are attached to their companies. They believe they would have put in their blood and sweat into their company. They built the company over a period. They are attached to the company. They believe the listing on a national platform would dilute their holding on the company, and at some stage somebody might take over. That's a genuine fear from most of the entrepreneurs. Whenever we talk to people, they think if I get listed, I'm open for acquisitions. Somebody might actually take over my company, but that's unsubstantiated fear in a way, because what SEBI requires is just about 25% dilution. 75% can continue to be with the promoter, only 25% needs to be given to the public to get listed. So with 75%, there's no way anybody can take over the company from the entrepreneur. So that's in a way unsubstantiated. The moment we start talking to the entrepreneurs, they realize that it is fine. So once we explain to them that this is the basis on which a great company can be built, everybody wants to transform their company from a small company to a big company. In a way, the corporate governance requirements which SEBI has built into the regulations are the hygiene factors. If you really want to transform your business, you have to follow some of these basic corporate governance requirements. Once we start talking to them, and then the very fact that the Companies Act has been putting a lot of additional compliances for both listed as well as unlisted companies, and listed compliances are no different from any other compliances. People really understand and they start looking at taking it forward. The third concern is most of them say, I'm an entrepreneur, I've been doing my business, I don't know anything about capital markets, why should I get there? I don't even know. I'll not be able to understand the process. That's where we actually step in. We actually start actually helping them to navigate the entire process from being an unlisted company to a listed company. In case of a main board company, we don't even really get into most of these areas. They have the capability to get the advice from consultants or large companies. But SMEs find it exceedingly difficult to do that. That's where we actually help them to understand the entire process and introduce them to various intermediaries who can help them to navigate the entire process.
I want to talk about specifically, I know that NSE does a lot through NSE Emerge and also through other forums and platforms to educate people about financial literacy and financial inclusion. But I would love to hear it from you. How does NSE really engage with the MSME entrepreneur when it comes to financial literacy?
So basically, we have been from the time Emerge platform was launched in 2012. We have been reaching out to all major SME clusters across the country. We have identified almost major SME clusters which have a good concentration of SMEs. We reached out to those clusters, held series of programs. basic awareness programs have been held in almost all major clusters, where we talked about the whole idea of capital markets as a way to raise capital, and whole idea of capital markets as the way for them to really grow. So that effort has happened. We also realized that intermediaries play a huge role, particularly the chartered accountants and the company secretaries who advise these companies. Most SMEs tend to depend on their chartered accountant for almost everything, right from financial advice to business advice and functional advice. So we have started engaging with Chartered Accountants Institute, Company Secretaries Institute. We have also roped them in. We have conducted programs for their own members, and through them to the entrepreneurs. So that is one area of focus, to reach out to entrepreneurs who possibly believe mostly on the advice provided by the chartered accountant or financial consultant. The other, obviously, we have reached out to industry bodies, CII, SME bodies, multiple SME bodies all over the country. Then we also looked at the banks as a big source. Banks have huge relationships with their SME borrowers. So we have tapped banks and development financial institutions like SIDBI to reach out to their customers, hold programs, make them aware of the platform. And the other significant area of focus has been to get some of these entrepreneurs to upskill their entrepreneurial, whatever, they obviously are entrepreneurs, they have already got some base level skills. We have been conducting MDPs which kind of upskill some of these entrepreneurs in soft areas, and then try and make them that much more successful in their area of operation. So we are also looking at governments as a huge source of reaching out to SMEs. Certain governments, state governments, we have reached out to various state governments. They have district industry commissioners as such. All districts have a DIC. So through the DICs, we have reached out to entrepreneurs. We have held talks with the top officials at the state government level. They passed on instructions to the DICs to help us reach out to the entrepreneurs. So that is one more area. And we have been talking to state governments, multiple state governments, to try and see how they can help SMEs from those specific states to come on board and get listed and raise capital from the market. Most governments want their SMEs to flourish and succeed. It'll help their economy. So they're more than happy to actually step in and then give us platforms through which we can reach out to the entrepreneurs. So that effort has been absolutely really we didn't expect initially that that kind of a support would come from the government bodies, but we have been really surprised to see huge amount of understanding and support from the government.
Mr. Varanasi, do hold that thought. Let's take a very quick break. Much more on the other side. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. With us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we are in conversation with NSE. When we started this conversation, you were talking about some of the sectors that are really seeing listings coming up. I remember 2015-16 saw a huge spate of healthcare companies, for example, that were tapping the markets. Are you seeing specific sectors that are more proactive when it comes to listing? And if yes, how, in your opinion, how do you encourage more sectors to really take part in tapping the capital markets?
Sectors, actually there was diverse. In fact, we, as I said, right from service companies, we have actually HR consultancy has done it. IT companies have come on board. We have seen agricultural companies have come on board. Real estate, a few companies have come on board. So we have seen across the board manufacturing companies, distribution companies, logistics, infrastructure companies. So wide variety of companies which are coming on board. The focus from Emerge side has been on the manufacturing. As much as possible, we want to really help the manufacturing concerns, because that's where usually we keep on hearing that the fund shortage is coming there, or equity capital shortage or debt capital shortage is coming up. That's where our focus has been. And as I said, there has been so far, it is a huge variety of companies which are coming on board. There is no specific focus on any particular sector as such. Our focus is on manufacturing concerns and try and reach out as much as possible. But region wise also we have seen a good spread, right from southern states. Almost we have listings from Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. We have listings from, obviously Gujarat has been a very good potential for us. We have listings from Madhya Pradesh, we have listings from Rajasthan, Bombay, I mean Maharashtra anyway is obviously there. So we have seen listings from North, Kanpur, we have listings, Lucknow. So we've actually done some listing ceremonies in Kanpur. We're looking at North, I mean in a way we have reached out to Northeastern states also. I mean most people believe Northeastern states don't really have too much of industries. But we are seeing some potential there. So some of the SMEs obviously from those states are also showing interest. We have seen listings from West Bengal. So we have been working with various state governments, and they are also helping us reach out.
Now, everyone is talking about digital across the board, across industries. Even as the government is pushing Digital India and talking about digital in a big way, how do you see the NSE, as well as how do you see MSMEs participating more in the financial markets, in the equity markets through digital?
So in fact, I mean, the moment they come on board, they have to be digital. I mean, there's no other way. Essentially, entire trading happens in completely electronic platform. The settlements happen electronically, both in terms of depositories as well as the payments. The payments themselves, we are actually looking at the possibility. I mean, the trading activity itself is available both in terms of on internet-based terminals as well as mobile terminals, mobile platforms. So people can actually place orders using the mobile instrument as such. So we are looking at other options of making the entire interface simpler. So some of this I mean, ASBA, which is mandatory for applying for IPOs, we're actually looking at possibilities of making the entire process completely digital for a customer. So instead of filling up an application form, they can go to our website, download the application, fill it up on the website itself, download the application and just give it. So it's as simple as that. And the rest of the process in terms of going to a bank or giving any instructions, so those areas also we are actually trying to make it as seamless and as digital as possible, so that the investor doesn't have to step out of his comfort to apply to an IPO of an SME platform. So that's where we are looking at and working towards. But the trading itself is electronic right from the beginning anyway, so it's not much of an issue in that.
One question that we love to ask our experts who come on our show is about what lessons that we can learn from global peers. You know, lessons in excellence we can possibly learn from global peers. The responses we get are very varied across which industry we're speaking with. If I were to pose that question to you, what would your response be?
The focus again is, if you really look at Asia, Germany or China, the focus, I mean, most of the economic strength, the manufacturing prowess of Germany or even China for that matter, is built on SMEs, and a lot of effort to facilitate the SMEs to really get their potential, reach their potential is what is the focus, what should be the focus of most of the activity, both from the regulatory field side as well as from the governmental side. Entrepreneurs are doing their bit, they're obviously trying to do their bit, but a lot more focus, a lot more support structures for SMEs would really change. So if you really see particularly the German experience as such, both in terms of quality, there is a huge focus on quality. Nothing which is coming out of Germany is inferior at any point of time. It's significant, and everything is SMEs. It's not large companies which are producing that world-beating products as such. Second is a huge amount of focus on skilling and so-called apprenticeship kind of a thing. So basically, formal education is not, I mean, the skills, purely skills are also seen as equal to formal education. So the work ethic is completely different. There is a dignity of labor is there. The skilling and apprenticeship, the practical side of the story is given huge amount of focus in Germany. So that has really helped bringing artisanship, to a level where they are able to compete with the world. The small SME companies from Germany are able to compete with the world. China, the focus is on scaling. Everything gets scaled, and huge amount of scaling, and the ability to organize businesses in such a way that they are able to benefit from these clusters, which are clusters of industries which are in that area. We have looked at the clusters here. Some of the clusters have been really great in helping the SMEs to grow, but I think a lot more can be learned from both Germany's experience in quality focus and skilling, and in case of China, the ability to scale up and then take the production to the world class.
When you were talking earlier about financial education and literacy and about what NSE is doing, including the workshops, one thing that I'm sure comes across in those workshops is mentoring. But I want to talk about the big picture on mentoring and ask you how MSMEs can get financial mentoring and how they can possibly work with you on that.
That's where we are actually trying to work with some of the state governments. One, obviously we are able to ensure that they're able to meet the right kind of people. That much an informal setup which we have put in place, so that an SME entrepreneur who's wanting to raise capital or who wants to understand the market and understand finance, we are able to put them onto the right kind of intermediaries who will take things forward. So we are also talking to a couple of state governments. They're still not finalized as yet, where we are looking at some kind of SME clinics. So where they are able to get, SMEs can just walk in there, get all the help possible. They require both in field of finance as well as marketing, in operations. So those areas where we are wanting to actually work with some of the state governments who will be able to put these kind of SME clinics which are focused only on ensuring that entrepreneurs are getting the right kind of inputs, both financial, non-financial, or soft skills, whichever they would want. So that is the focus, and hopefully we'll be able to see end of the light at the end of the tunnel in near future with some of the state governments.
My last question to you then, sir. If there are one or two things that you live by in terms of the success that you yourself have seen personally, and if I can term them as success mantras, what advice would you want to leave our viewers with?
Well, self-confidence. You should, one should have confidence in what one does and the principles which one believes as such, and complete ability to live by those principles, and huge amount of discipline and hard work, obviously.
Thank you very much for speaking with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, Mr. Varanasi. Do remember that if you have any question about any aspect of your business, you can always write in to us at leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT. You can tweet at me personally. My Twitter handle is Sunanda_J, or call us on that number you see flashing on your screen. We promise to have all your questions answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.